Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Very much looking forward to the Alumni Shabbaton this Shabbos in Teaneck. Hope we'll see a lot of you there. I wanted to show you a very quick idea. I think I might have said it over last year. I don't remember, but it's a very beautiful idea, an idea of the Vilna Gaon, and it emerges from two very similar psukim in this week's parsha. In Perek Yudalid Pasuk Chav Beis, the Torah writes as follows: Vayavo b'nei Yisrael. We're talking about b'nei Yisrael, the Kriyas Yamsuf, going into the Yamsuf. Vayavo b'nei Yisrael b'toch hayam bayabasha. So the Jewish people went b'toch hayam, into the water, bayabasha. V'hamayim lahem choma miminam mismolam. That's the pasuk. They went in b'toch hayam bayabasha. And then the Torah tells us that the waters were a wall, a choma, biminam umismalam, on the right side, on the left side. That's pasuk Chav Beis of Perek Yudalet. You go down 7 more psukim in pasuk Chav Tes, very similar pasuk with a few very small nuances that are different. Ubnei Yisrael halchu bayabasha b'toch hayam v'hamayim lahem choma miminam mismalam. What's the difference over here in pasuk Chav Tes? Here we're told that Bnei Yisrael went bayabasha b'toch hayam, in the land that is in the water. Up top, it says vayavo Bnei Yisrael b'toch hayam bayabasha, in the water that was in the land. What exactly is the difference? That's one difference, and that's pretty noticeable and pretty striking. Second difference, which is much more subtle, is that if you look at the word at the end of the pasuk, v'hamayim lahem choma, that the waters were a wall. So in the first pasuk it says choma male, ches vav mem he. In the second pasuk it says choma missing the vav, choma without the vav, chet mem he. So the Medrash jumps on this distinction and focuses on that latter pasuk. Why does it say choma without the vav when it says choma above with the vav? And the Medrash says that the waters actually were choma without the vav. It can also be read chema, were angry. There was an anger, if you will, in the water. What was going on? What was the problem? So the Medrash cites a conversation that the Satan had with Hashem as Kriyas Yamsuf is happening. Imagine the scene. Bnei Yisrael being chased by the Mitzrim, and the water is about to open. Bnei Yisrael goes into the Yam. They cross through. They come out on the other side. The Mitzrim follow them, and as the last Yisrael leaves, as the last member of Bnei Yisrael leaves, the waters now come crashing back down on the Mitzrim, and the Mitzrim perish. So the Satan says to Hashem, I don't understand. Halalu ovdei avodah zara, v'halalu ovdei avodah zara. Halalu b'mem tes sharei tuma, why is it that you're saving the Jewish people? They were pagan, they were of Avodah Zarah, and you're enabling the Mitzrim to perish. Why? So that's the question that is posed by the Medrash. I'll tell you the answer in a second. But before we get to the answer, so the Vilna Gaon just makes a beautiful comment. So why was the Satan so upset? Yeah, they were of the Avodah Zarah, it's all true. But he points out, in these two subtle differences in the psukim, it highlights 2 different classes of the Jewish people. You see, in Bnei Yisrael there were 2 groups of people. There were people like Nachshon ben Aminadav. Nachshon had a tremendous sense of emunah. And Hashem said, I'm going to save you. Moshe says, you're going to be saved. Now they're up against the brink. The Mitzvah are following them, and they have an ocean in front of them. What are they supposed to do? And Nachshon ben Aminadav takes the initiative. And there were people with him who had that emunah pshuta b'Hashem. Hashem's going to take care of us. That sense of bitachon and emunah. And what does Nachshon do? He jumps into hamayim bayabasha. He jumps into water. He jumps into the water, and that was necessary. That act of Mesiras Nefesh, that act of emunah and bitachon, was necessary, the first step. We make that move, we take that initiative, and then the waters split. There the waters were a wall, a choma male, with the vav, protecting Knesset Yisrael. The hamayim lahem choma, they were a wall, because Bnei Yisrael showed that initiative. They took the first step, they made the first move, they had that sense of emunah and bitachon. But then there were those who stay in the back, what I like to call the wallflowers. Let's see what happens. I'm going to jump into a raging ocean. It's the most illogical thing in the world. Let me go back to Mitzrayim. There were the cynics, the people that did not have that sense of emunah and bitachon. Prove it to me, and then I'll walk through. They stayed on the back. There are always those people. I know in NCSY Kolo we have this massive dodgeball game. All the madrichim versus all the talmidim. So if I remember back in the day when I was a major dodgeball player, so the people in the front lines were throwing the ball, trying to get other people out, but they're at risk. They might themselves get out. And then there are the people who kind of hang out in the back. They wait and they wait and they wait, and then as the lines thin, that's when they start to emerge. So it might be a good strategy in dodgeball, but in emunah and bitachon, in being a leader of Klal Yisrael, in forging the path, so to be a bystander, to sit in the back and wait to see what happens, that is not a very good midah. And therefore there were those who stood in the back and they only entered by Yabasha b'toch hayam. Once we see it split, once it's secure 100%, once it's 100% fine, then we'll make our moves. So that, says the Satan, what's the difference in the Mitzrim and the Yehudim? They have no emunah, they have no emunah. They don't trust you, they don't trust you. So therefore, the waters are now not a choma, but a chema. They want to crash down. They buy into this argument. A lot of times, life is tough. We have to take initiative. Sometimes you can't have fully dry land under you. I feel very, very privileged, immensely privileged to live in Eretz Yisrael. People come, make aliyah. It's not an easy thing. The ground is not always as secure as in other places in the world. But it takes a certain level of emunah, of bitachon, of a feeling that this is what Hashem wants from me. And you kind of take the leap. You take the nachshon ben aminadav, nesty plunge. It takes a little guts. It takes a little fortitude. It takes a little bit of bitachon. But ultimately, sometimes that's what parts the waters. And that is perhaps the lesson that you have in these two kitos, these two classes of Knesset Yisrael, those that take initiative, that take that first step, and those that kind of stand on the sidelines and have that wait-and-see approach. So I tell you what Hashem answers the Satan. Hashem let even that second class go through. And Hashem tells the Satan, there's a big difference. Shota sheba olam, you fool. Yeah, it's true, Bnei Yisrael was on Mem Teshai Tumah, and so the Mitzrim, they don't look that different, but there's a difference. There is a difference. You see, the Paro and Mitzrayim, they were the world's superpower. They were on top of the world. They had everything. They had wealth. They were the leaders of the world. Bnei Yisrael were slaves. They were victims of hundreds of years of slavery, persecution, and subjugation. So true. Halalu ovdei avodah zara, v'halalu ovdei avodah zara. And they're both guilty. But Bnei Yisrael is guilty with an excuse. And Paro and Mitzrayim, they had everything going for them. They had no excuse. Perhaps you'll tell me, wealth is also an excuse. Sometimes we say, Kol chi ve'otzim yadi, yes. But when you have those two nisyonos, the nisyonos of slavery, of anius, of subjugation, versus the nisyon of control, of power, of wealth, so says Hashem, you can't compare. Bnei Yisrael was guilty with an excuse. Paro and Mitzrayim, no excuse. And we find ourselves, sometimes that's a very real nisayon. But when life is bad, life is a problem, when we're being persecuted, when we're experiencing anti-Semitism, poverty, and the like, okay, sometimes people fall off. They lose faith. When life is good, when parnasa is good, when I have my health, Baruch Hashem, when things are working, that's when we really have to step up. That's when we're more accountable. Have that sense of hakaras hatov and appreciation for everything we have. That's Hashem's answer to the Satan. Very strong answer, very powerful answer. Something that we have to take heed of in our own lives as we go ahead and build ourselves as Abdei Hashem.